Wanted to also share with you the words that I shared earlier this week on Tuesday evening at the Plantation Interfaith Association of Clergy's annual Thanksgiving service, which I'm proud to say Ramat Shalom hosted this year. We gathered together many of the faith communities that define the city of Plantation. And while my words and the words of my colleagues, the words we shared on Tuesday were directed specifically at the residents of Plantation, those who joined us, the message transcends city boundaries. Our theme at this year's service was Love Your Neighbor, based on Leviticus 19:18. The words, the specific verse, you shall love your neighbor, your fellow, as you love yourself. And we chose to base the service on this verse because right now we know there isn't enough love out there. And there's plenty of hate. It's nice, this idea, loving our neighbors just like, or I should say loving our neighbors just like we love ourselves. Imagine if we really did that. Imagine how beautiful the world would be. Imagine how our children, our grandchildren, our nieces and nephews, our students, our parents, our siblings, our friends, all of the residents of this beautiful city of Plantation. Imagine how we would all live in harmony if neighbors truly loved neighbors. But sadly, they don't. We don't. Now, I know we is a generalization. Some of us do, but we have to be honest. Most of us don't love each other, at least not the way that the Torah, the Bible, this verse from Leviticus tells us to love each other. Some of us might coexist quite well with our neighbors. Some of us tolerate our neighbors. And some of us might be kind to our neighbors, but do we love each other just like we love ourselves, just like we love our own immediate family? Remember, the verse in Leviticus commands us, love your fellow as yourself. It doesn't say coexist with them. It doesn't say tolerate them. It doesn't say just to be kind to them. It specifically says love. My friends, as we celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday and we get ready for the holiday season, there is nothing more important for us to do right now than to learn how to really live this verse, to love each other like we love ourselves, to love your neighbor just like the people you love in your own home. And I'm asking you to do this because I am your neighbor. My congregation is made up of a lot of your neighbors. Ramat Shalom is one of Plantation's Jewish sacred spaces, a synagogue, my synagogue, your synagogue, a beautiful, holy place. But let's face it, when you visit us, you see our guard. Intentionally, you don't see some of our undercover guards. You might notice the cameras. You certainly notice the gates. Many of you might not be aware that I, as do many of my other Jewish colleagues, get regular briefings from Jewish agencies and local and national law enforcement about real threats that are out there, about people, sometimes our neighbors, seeking to do us harm. And by the way, I can't thank Chief Harrison and the Plantation Police Department for going above and beyond to keep us safe, and I am so grateful for them. As many of you know, in New York City the other night, 2 people were arrested for seeking to attack synagogues. In New Jersey, recently, synagogues were put on lockdown. In Texas and Pittsburgh and Southern California, Jews and their synagogues have been desecrated and lives have been lost. And we're not talking about Nazi Germany. We're talking about our American neighborhoods in the 21st century. Right here in Plantation, at Ramat Shalom, we've been threatened. And we're not the only Jewish community in South Florida who has faced this. These days, celebrities and comedians and sports icons, American politicians, they're cheered on while they flame the fans of hate against me. Many in our virtual service tonight, and many who filled our Thanksgiving service on Tuesday night. This hate, it's not a game. It's not funny. It's not up for debate. It's not Jews exaggerating things. It's real. And we, the Jewish community, we know that we have targets on our back. We, the Jews of Plantation, Florida, and surrounding communities, we know that we have targets on our backs. Your neighbors, the Jews. One of my neighbors, a member of one of our local churches, a church that attended our Thanksgiving service, a great lady. I do love her. She said to me the other day, "Rabbi, I love you, and I love the Jewish people. And please, you need to teach us about the hate. You need to tell us why for centuries you Jews have been hated so much. You need to tell us what to do." And you know what I said to her? And by the way, what I did say, and what I'm about to explain, was inspired by an African-American colleague's response to me when I asked her after George Floyd was murdered, "Teach me what to do, what you need, why this hate continues." So here's what I said to Shirley. By the way, that's not her name, but that's what I'm going to call her tonight. Shirley, I said, "I love you too. But it's not my job, nor is it my desire to tell you why I am despised, why my people continue to live with the ugly reality of anti-Semitism. Shirley, if you love me, if you truly love me, you should know that it's your job to educate yourself, to learn that in 2022, we Jews shouldn't have to explain to the world why we're hated." She stood and looked at me, and I continued, "Shirley, I love you, just like Leviticus 19:18 commands me to do. And because I love you, I'm going to do as the Torah, as the Bible tells me to do. In the verse right before, in Leviticus 19:17, I'm going to kindly but directly rebuke you. I'm going to tell you how to love me and the rest of your Jewish neighbors. And I'm going to do so by jumping up just one more verse to Leviticus 19:16, where it says, 'Do not stand idly by as the blood of your neighbor is shed.'" Surely, I said, I make up 2% of the American population. 60% of the religious-based hate crimes in our country are directed against me and my people. 2% against us, the Jews. We Jews, we're bleeding, literally and figuratively. Just a few weeks ago in our own state of Florida, football fans in Jacksonville and drivers on I-4 in Orlando, they were targeted with signs saying Kanye was right. Kids in Western Florida just a few weeks ago, just down the street, found their playground desecrated with anti-Semitic graffiti. Right here in Broward County, just like places all over this country, Jews are plagued with hate crimes directed against us. And I'm not going to go into the details about these crimes, but I can tell you the details would keep you awake at night. And I know that because they keep me awake at night. We in the Jewish community were preparing for things to get worse. We're improving our security systems and building higher fences. We're tough. We're strong. We've been through the darkness and we're used to this, sadly. And so we plan. But in addition to planning for the worst, we have incredible faith. We have faith that despite centuries of torment, a day will come when everyone will truly love their neighbors just like they love themselves. And that will include us, the Jewish people. And so I said, I'm asking you, Shirley, just like I'm asking everybody who joined us on Tuesday, just like I asked all of them, and just like I ask you tonight, to not stand idly by as we Jews face hate. I'm asking you to love me and my community, just like you love yourselves, your churches, and your religious leaders. Love your Jewish neighbors just like you love your Christian neighbors, and include in that your neighbors of all different faiths, all different races, all different nationalities and sexualities. When you truly love your neighbor, you'll realize that when it comes to the senseless hatred directed toward the Jewish community or any other minority group, we don't want to have to teach you about it. We want you to pay attention and stand up for us. When it comes to the constant threats we face every single day, we don't want you to say, I had no idea. Please don't stand idly by. We want you to love us like you love yourself and stand with us as we guard our sacred spaces. And when we're actually hit and we're in so much pain, respectfully, we don't want just your hopes and your prayers. We want you to come take care of us, to love us as you love yourself. Shirley embraced me, and we both cried together. And I'm really impressed with her because she started to educate herself. She's come to services at Ramat Shalom, and as I assured my colleagues, my Christian colleagues, she's not looking to switch congregations. She was just coming to learn. She called me the other day to tell me that she heard that Amazon is still selling an anti-Semitic video promoted by Kyrie Irving, and she wanted me to know that she wrote to Jeff Bezos herself. She said, Rabbi, I love you. And I told her right back, I know you do because I feel it. And I love you too, Shirley. As I said to everybody who joined us on Tuesday evening, my neighbors, I love each and every single one of you. And so I spoke the truth. And I speak it again tonight. As a Jew who calls Plantation my home, please, as we finish Thanksgiving and enter into more of these holidays, stand with me and my Jewish people. Speak up for me. And with all your heart, love us like you love yourselves. I want to add that when the service was over, a member of my friends, Pastor Marta and Pastor Kathy's congregation, Plantation United Methodist Church, came up to me. We had never met each other. And she looked at me with her arms wide open and tears in her eyes. And she said, "Rabbi, my name isn't Shirley." She told me her name and she said, "I love you and I stand with you." And we hugged each other. And suddenly for me, it felt like Thanksgiving. And I thank her for that moment.